I know.
Oh, and now we're just showing up talking in the middle of a sentence. And,
I know, but it's great. It's like people come in, they wonder what were they just talking about.
Oh, you'll never know. We'll never tell.
Ooh, it was so juicy.
And Bruce's floor is apparently swallowing him up.
I like it down here. I feel like a Muppet.
Okay, well, I can just do that.
You could do that for sure.
Yep.
And Dan,
and you can see all the fan stuff you never get to see.
My setup, I guess I could tilt the camera. Oh, but then you'd see how messy it is on top of the shelf. I don't know if I want that.
Oh, I want to see that. I've never seen the messy top shelf. Oh, it's not that messy.
What? That is not messy.
No, that is not messy. Oh, whatever.
Or I should do it like this.
That is now not it won't go
messy.
down. Oh, well.
Not messy, Dan.
So how's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, let's do that. Hey, everybody. How's it going out there in chat land? Thank you. Hey. Hey, okay, so we're going to talk about Star Trek Picard. Okay, hold on. Let me get back. I feel like I'm at the barbershop.
This is riveting television, folks.
It totally is. It super is.
So when I was in high school, a friend of mine, her dad always said that I was going to be the next host of the Tonight Show, but that didn't happen. I'm still waiting for that to happen. So this is as close as I'm going to get. Is this right now?
Nice. I'll be your Ed McMahon.
Hello.
Or no, I'll be the band leader. Dan can be your Ed McMahon, and I'll just be the band leader. They'll just say snarky comments every once in a while.
Doc Severinsen. It's been so long. Severinsen. Star Trek Picard, Episode 3. The end is the beginning. I'm sure there's a lot of people wish this was the end. But it is the beginning of this show. Oh, thank you, Becky. 2010 Abel. I've said that before, but it's been a while.
2010able? Is it 2010able?
Tenable. 2010able. Becky 2010able.
Is that it, Becky?
I'm assuming she, but anyway, she says that we're better than the Tonight Show anyway.
Nice.
Aww.
Oh, also, I want to comment on another comment she made talking about the Ready Room. This week was the first time I actually watched the Ready Room. I want to go back and watch the other two as well. And yes, the whole interview with Michelle Hurd about Raffi's character, if you guys haven't seen that, so good. And I loved her character after watching the episode. And then after the Ready Room, I loved that character 10 times more. So I love what they're trying to say with her and where I'm sure they're going with that character. So
I saw half of that interview. I watched half of the Ready Room, and then we were watching it in bed last night, and my wife's like, "I'm ready to go sleep now," so I turned it off, and I didn't get to see the rest yet. But yeah, what I saw was good because she was talking about the character. She was actually giving us some backstory on the character.
Yeah, which is interesting. That's
really
cool.
I was surprised that they were revealing that because that tells me that maybe they're not going to give us that background in the show, or maybe they don't care to release that right now. I don't know. Or maybe it's in the novel coming out next week.
That could very well be, yeah.
Which
we will be talking about on Literary Treks.
Take a drink. Oh, I don't have a drink.
Ooh, that's strong vodka. Strong vodka.
Where to put my camera now? Wait. Anyway.
That's water.
Put it right there.
Okay, we'll just call you Becky. Becky. I like your creative name. Yeah, okay. So this episode started off in 2385, which was 14 years ago from present day being 2399. And I just want to ask you guys, I thought it was interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people online talking about how much they like these uniforms in 2385. And I'm like, why is this such a surprise? And then I realized, because not everybody read the comics. Because I'm used to seeing these uniforms. But I thought they did look good.
Yeah, the live action versions, they looked Picard looked sharp. It's good to see him in uniform. even though I guess this is the last day that he's in that uniform, which was really sad. But man, they're sharp uniforms. I like those.
I do too. They look well. Everything looks great in the comics, but there's something about seeing it in
Mhm.
real life
Yeah.
that just makes it extra special.
It
Yeah,
definitely looks better on Patrick Stewart than it did on the cover of issue number 1 of Countdown.
Yeah.
If anybody knows what we're talking about, it was not good art on that one. I don't know what's going on.
No, and it's
On
like,
one of those
really?
covers.
The cover? Really? This is the cover? Really? That's where the really best art is supposed to be.
Hey,
Yeah, that one cover was not good.
No, it's not.
you know, I'm just thinking right now, I don't remember paying attention to the badge. Which badge is on that uniform?
It was like the Voyager TNG
Okay.
films later DS9.
I was
one.
thinking that, but I didn't
The same
consciously
one,
remember
the
that.
same one that he used to call Raffi
Yeah.
in
Where he's like,
$23.99.
Ruffy, don't hang up.
So little tiny thing that I noticed, and I'm going to try and do the sound effects. I can't remember exactly what they used, but in the episode, this is where like I'm like, ooh. In the episode when you called Raffi, it made a different sound than we're used to. It was like this little warble sound. But then in the previously on Star Trek Picard, it did the like the regular sound that we know from TNG DS9 Voyager stuff. And then when he used it later in this episode, it was back. Anyway, I was just like, oh, they put a different sound effect in there. I don't know. My nerd brain. I was like,
I love that you pick up on stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Because we need people to pick up on stuff that the rest of us miss. Because I missed that. I didn't really notice that. Because I
Yeah, me
thought,
neither.
oh, it's like calling somebody on a cell phone. They're not necessarily, I mean, if you're not in Starfleet, they're not necessarily going to answer immediately. So you're sitting there and always go, brrr, brrr, brrr,
Also, I
come
mean,
on, pick up.
this is from last week, but I love that he said, don't hang up. Like, if we think that phrase means nothing today, can you imagine, 300-400 years from now? Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because Raffi's in a mobile home, she's got a real phone in there. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a way to have a normal phone anymore.
I don't know. What do people use in the 24th century that are not Starfleet? How do people communicate with each other in audio?
Well, you saw what Raffi had, and it was very much like, the same thing that Soji has.
Yeah, like a little handheld holographic computer thing.
Yeah.
Do you think they have Alexa?
I think they have something way better.
Also, you just turned on everybody's Amazon Echoes.
No, not mine, because I'm hearing you on earphones.
Nice.
Ooh, that's true. Alexa, play Star Trek Picard.
Nice.
So
CBS chill. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Hey, Dan, how are you feeling, by the way? You sound much better.
I feel so much better. I think I'm completely over everything now. Finally, knock on wood.
Or knock on mic is what that sounded like.
It's the desk upon which my mic is sitting. So
fair. That's fair.
So what'd you think of Raffi? Do you like
I love
Raffi?
her.
You love her?
I love her.
I see
Love
a
her.
lot of people online loving her.
Love her. She's flawed and she's complicated and she's human. She's somebody that pretty much everyone can relate to in some way. Because she's filled with humiliation and rage, and she's looking for somewhere to put it. And right now she's putting it on Picard. And, that's actually kind of fair because he abandoned her. So, but like she's something else, and I can't wait to see what else. I don't think she's getting off at Free Cloud, y'all. She's gonna stick around. I think something's gonna happen where she has to see this whole thing through.
Yeah, you can tell early on here she's got that kind of personality, and Picard kind of hinted at it when he talked to her. He's like, "You're researching this, aren't you?" And she's like, "Well, no." It's like, "Here's everything. I don't want it." And she's getting into it. Like she is going to get her hooks into this, whatever this mission ends up being, and she's going to follow it through to the end. I love what this character has to say. And again, going back to that interview about how someone who's made mistakes and has fallen prey to addictions and that kind of thing can still make a difference, can still contribute. And I think that's really important. And I think that's a good message. And I'm looking forward to seeing that play out for sure.
Yeah, I saw in the Ready Room her talk about that her character had addiction problems, was abandoned as a child. So she had a rough life until she got involved in Starfleet. And that helped save her and get out of the addiction and depression and such. But then when she got booted out of Starfleet, she just regressed back to that. So I wonder if we will see flashbacks to an earlier part of her life at some point. But in the show, I do think we're going to hear about it in the novel.
Yeah, it's possible. I like that the last 2 episodes have kind of started out with flashbacks, and we're getting pieces of that backstory. I don't know how much more there's going to be. It feels like unless it's, stuff connecting the Tal Shiar, this evidence that she says she has about the Tal Shiar's involvement with the attack on Mars and stuff. I'd be interested in seeing that for sure.
Which reminds me, let's see. She was, I'm trying to find my notes when we talked about the comic on that other show. And
everybody get ready for a drink.
I remember there was something in the comics where she said that, or it was referred to that she was like some kind of expert on Romulans. She was a Romulan expert in the comic that we discussed on Literary Treks.
Interesting.
I don't have that note here, but I do remember that. So I guess what I'm getting at is for her to have this theory or this evidence that, the Romulans or the Tal Shiar or whatever is behind this, that would make sense that if she studies Romulans or knows a lot about the culture, I don't know, whatever association she has, maybe she's lived on Romulus at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to kind of see that piece of it. The one thing that kind of bugged me, and I know like Picard's at a different stage in his life right now, but like her saying that she has this concrete evidence and Picard just kind of dismissing it. I don't know. Like, I feel like he'd give her more of a hearing about that, unless he has heard her out on it before and she's, not come up with anything that was convincing. I don't know. But like, it was odd to me that Picard was like, "Oh, that doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
Well, he can be kind of a steamroller sometimes.
Yes.
So
true.
That actually didn't really surprise me, because he's focused on, one thing, and that is finding Soji. Not that he knows her name, but that is his thing. He's going to find Bruce Maddox. He's going to find Soji. That is all that he cares about right now. And all this other stuff is kind of just like, yeah, whatever to him. It's like, I've got these things that I'm going to do, and you better not get in my way.
I have to say something. It's not going to be a popular thing to say, but I've watched this episode 3 times, and each time I watched it, I'm getting a little disappointed in the Picard character. Well, I'll talk about being disappointed about something else too later. But I just feel like Picard is just, at least in this episode, not as tough as he used to be. Like, I'm just thinking him on the Enterprise, and he's shouting commands and and now he's just like, oh well, Raffi, if you could join me, okay, and he's not, like you're saying, he's not as assertive. And I know he's older and it's a different part of his life, and he's not in Starfleet. He's not a captain or an admiral anymore. But I'm just wanting him to step up to the plane, be a little tougher and a little more commanding like he used to be.
But that is the whole point of doing this series, is that it's not the same Picard. He wouldn't be doing this if he was just the same Picard. He didn't want to do TNG 2.0. He wanted to do something else. He wanted to be flawed. He wanted to be, down at the bottom of the pit. That's what he wanted.
Right. And all I'm saying is I'm finding his character to be a bit boring at this point, because now that we've gotten 3 episodes through it, I'm just kind of like, I'm not finding him all that interesting right now. I did in the first and the second, but now I'm just feeling like it's like, if you've never seen Picard, if this character before and this is your first time going in, it's like, I'm just really not feeling that much on this character right now.
Well, what about... I'm sorry, go ahead, Dan. You go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay. I was just going to say, I kind of see this series as him going back to that former glory eventually. Like, I feel like there was that line in the first episode where he said, I haven't been living, I've just been waiting to die. And, part of that is the whole reason he hasn't gone back to see Raffi, because he's been in his own funk and he's just been waiting everything out. And I feel like this series is going to be him realizing those things that made him vital and a force to be reckoned with, and kind of rebuilding that as he goes. And right now he's in the middle of those flaws and that kind of stuff. So I totally see where you're coming from, Bruce. I think it's a feature, not a bug. And I feel like as it goes, we're going to see that evolution back to the Picard we knew, as he, struggles to make right what once went wrong in the Federation and all this stuff. So,
and I understand that. And I mean, I get that. I'm just saying at this point, 3 episodes in, I'm just kind of feeling it. I think one reason is because when we saw a flashback to him as being an admiral and still in Starfleet, I felt like he was still playing it the way he's playing the today Picard, and not more so the Picard we knew in Starfleet. Like, he's already seeming defeated. And I think some of that has to do with his age, the actor's age in this.
I mean, that could be. And I think also that was an intentional choice in that scene as well, because that's where it all started, right? Was this meeting and the anguish when he says, I never believed they would accept my resignation. Like, he was playing that gambit and he was like, I'm going to plow ahead and do this. And they're like, okay, sure, resign. And I think that was like the dagger through his heart that he's been living with for the past 20 years now. I think that was his low moment that led him to becoming the hermit of Labar, as they call him.
Yeah.
And I do think
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say real quick. I do think, though, now that we're getting into episode 4 and 5 and he's on that ship, I think you're right. We'll start to see a little more of the more confident Picard than we did. And I'm hoping we do, is all I'm saying. What are you going to say?
I mean,
Brandi?
even that engage was just like...
Yeah. What I was going to say is Starfleet was Picard's life. And when they gave in to, quote, intolerance and fear, end quote, and fired him, basically, accepted his resignation, everything that he had built up to that point crumbled in that moment. There was no longer a Starfleet for him. It wasn't the same organization. And it's like he said in that interview in episode 1, because it was no longer Starfleet. That is how he feels. So what does he do when his last motivation is gone? And Raffi was ready to go and do something more. There was a way to figure it out. But he was so devastated by that action that he just was done.
Yeah, he quit. Well, like you said, he was in that first or second episode, he realized he's just been waiting to die. He's not been doing anything. Now it's time to get, as Todd Waters says, Dan, you were wanting to see Picard get his groove back.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think we started to see that not even with just the engage, but when he first comes on to the La Sirena, which is basically a loose translation is the mermaid, which Rios does have a mermaid tattoo as well. When he's talking to Rios And he's saying, "Oh yeah, I can tell you're Starfleet because of the way you stored this and how everything is in perfect condition, etc." And he was in his element again right then, even though he wasn't actually technically the captain of the ship. He was just like, "Oh, this I know." This I know. And so, and I love that when Riosa just goes, "Yeah, Rafi said you were a speech maker."
Definitely. The actor, Santiago Cabrera, is that?
Cabreras.
Oh, man. Can we talk about him? Because, like...
Yes, please.
Why do you want to talk about him?
Oh,
I
man.
think he's fantastic.
Fantastic. First of all, as Captain Rios, of course, but also
and the two holograms.
Yeah, the EMH and the
ENH. The emergency navigation hologram.
Did he not strike you, sorry, as an actor that just was having fun? Like, he was having so much fun.
The time of his life. Time of his life.
I wanted him to say cheeky feckers.
Cheeky feckers? What about cheeky feckers?
I wanted him to say that. The EMH say that.
Oh, you wanted the EMH to say he was a cheeky fecker.
Yeah.
I love when he's trying to avoid the ENH by putting his book up higher. It brought me such joy.
Tragic Sense of Life book.
Mm-hmm.
I loved every single second that he was on the screen. Just adore him.
Jesse says, best line, he's been kissed by the angels.
The ENH describing Picard. The thing is, what guy programs his emergency medical hologram and his emergency navigation hologram in his own image?
Right.
Unless
isn't that creepy?
It's self-hatred.
Isn't that creepy? Would you do that?
I'm thinking it's a self-hatred thing, actually.
Can you imagine
that's why he is so awful to them. I really think so.
I think that character is going to be very interesting and more so than I initially thought. Like I thought, rough around the edges, Captain, Mal from Firefly type. But they're giving him some interesting backstory as well, with like the fact that he was former Starfleet. He was first officer of this heavy cruiser that apparently was wiped from the records by Starfleet.
Yes, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and had this captain that he admired that he saw die, and he's kind of lost it because of that. Really interesting. I'm eager to see some more backstory on that for sure.
Me too.
Me too. I can't wait to see more of him. Delightful.
Yes.
And I love that he's fanboying over Picard, and the hologram basically calls him out on it.
Just every second was magic.
So that I would say that's your favorite character of this episode.
For me, yeah. Although it's hard. It's really hard because there's still Laris and Shaban, and there's still
I was going to say Laris is still in it.
Yeah. There's so much to love here. And it's very difficult. Shaban,
he's from the northern areas because of the ridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said to Dave when we watched it the first time. It's like, so the Northerners have the ridges.
And I love how she even they have the captured guy there, whatever, the Romulan with the ridges, and she even bops him on the head, He's like, oh, he's from the north like you, it looks like,
So that to me was a callback to and I can't remember who initially put this forward or whatever is an in-joke with the Klingons. I can't remember if it was Gene Roddenberry himself or someone else. They were talking about after the motion picture, and they said, well, they're bumpy headed and the old Klingons aren't bumpy headed. And they're like, well, they're from the north and the other ones are from the south. You happy? Or something like that.
Yeah. I remember,
and I felt like this was calling back directly to that.
Oh, that's good.
I love it.
That's
good.
Nice.
Or maybe it was some virus, that Phlox was working on with these Romulans.
I like those episodes, but oh man.
Yeah, it was just whatever. I'm not even gonna go there because we'd be talking about it for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know BJ. I'm gonna call you BJ and DG.
Yeah,
JL,
where's my bear? Get it? BJ and the Bear.
BJ and the Bear.
That's a deep cut that only people
That's
from
the
our
80s.
generation, Bruce, will get.
BJ McKay and his best friend Bear. Anyway. Look it up. Google it if you don't know what we're talking about. You won't regret it. So Rafi calls Jean-Luc JL. And we got
Which
that
she did
from
in the comic
too.
as well.
Yeah. So does Picard seem like a guy who would be okay with that? I think in the comic he was even saying like, "Why are you calling me that?" But he lets it go. He's a more laid back Picard the older he gets. Because back in the day when he first met Riker, when Riker on Farpoint beams up, I can't imagine Riker saying, "Hey, GL, JL."
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at Picard over the course of the 7 years, though, like he really lightens up.
Yeah, he likes kids more.
Yeah, and then add another like 20 plus years to that. I could see it, Yeah. I feel like he's definitely changed his style, and Raffi seems like a force that would just plow through it anyway.
Yep, exactly.
As she says in the comic, what was it like? I forget the word she used, but it hampers efficiency basically to be all formal all the time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Formality is the enemy of efficiency or something. I can't remember.
Well, go find it and look it up.
Hold on, actually I can.
Look, yeah, he's just. It's like we're going to do another episode of Literary Treks.
Dang it! Next time I'm bringing a drink.
You need to.
I do. I do need to. I get kind of cotton mouth during these sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And now while people looking things up, so we're all just sitting here going.
Yeah, we're just gonna. No, I'm kidding.
I'll be able to find it.
I thought it was interesting. Vasquez Rocks is actually now canon in Star Trek.
Yep.
After all these times, every planet has something that looks like that rock formation now.
Yep. Hodgkin's law of parallel planet development doesn't just like include humanoid species; it's rock formations as well.
But who allows her to have a camper there? You can't put an RV there, at least in today's day and age. But in the future, we can just park it wherever we want. And I don't remember if it's a national park or whatever, but it's definitely a park today. Vasquez Rocks. So you can't do that today. I guess
a lot can happen in a few centuries.
But
if we could do that, I'll do that.
But they also have cleaner energy sources that don't pollute the air and the environment.
Really?
And they have waste recyclers.
How do you know this?
Because Star Trek.
Well, I also thought people didn't smoke in the future, and that's been proven wrong now.
Hey, never assume that people don't smoke and drink in the future, because we know that they do. We have seen it in past Star Trek.
But
Absolutely.
Tom Paris says they don't smoke.
Yeah, well, Tom Paris doesn't know everything. I introduced you to an ambassador, St. John Talbot, in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier.
Yeah, but he was that doesn't count.
And Kirk got one from Martia in Star Trek VI. So if Kirk could get one from some alien in a prison, I'm sure Captain Rios can get cigars from anywhere.
Planet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they can pay for them because we have money in the future too.
Yeah, there is no money in the future.
They did. They had to pay for the transport for Rios to how expensive was he? He's like, I'm really expensive.
Really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got money too.
Well, we already knew that because of gold pressed latinum, for heaven's sake.
That's Ferenginar. That's not
and Federation credits.
Yeah, just because there isn't a money system anymore on Earth doesn't mean that there are not other worlds within the Federation that still have money systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the air. Yeah. That was
I know.
I'm
just stating things I see on the internet and want to see how you guys respond.
I will admit the money thing bugged me a little bit, but then, they've done at least as egregious stuff regarding money in previous Star Trek as well. It's kind of a big. We don't really know. Like, we know the economics are different and it's a post-scarcity society, but there's still got to be some kind of transfer of something. And
it's called trading, which is what people did before money.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
payment doesn't necessarily mean money.
Yeah,
It
how
could
much are those
mean
tribbles?
resources.
You know, tribbles were being sold too in TOS. So here's the thing. This is something that does bother me. We know Star Trek as a whole. We know the messaging. We know all this history within Star Trek. If anybody who's watching Star Trek Picard and this is their first Star Trek, or they're not that familiar, they've seen maybe a couple episodes of Star Trek here and there. The thing I don't like right now is that this has been mostly an earthbound show, and we're not seeing how different Earth is and society is at this point. That anybody who's watching this first time, to me, it looks like just the way things are today, except we have advanced technology. You know, people are smoking, vaping, doing drugs, money, you know, there's all this.
Two people doing that, smoking. Okay.
Yeah, but out of what, a cast of 8?
And also, we have seen plenty of aliens.
Time, no, yeah, but this is, I'm
Earth.
saying, if somebody's looking at this for the first time, this is their first Star Trek, they would not see the Earth that we understand. Like when you're saying, oh, in the future, we'll have, you know, environment, it'll be clean, the environment will be healthy and all that. That's not conveyed in this at all. We're not seeing that futuristic Earth.
I disagree, because we're not seeing Earth. We're seeing a story that happens to center in a couple of places on Earth. This is not a story about Earth itself. So they are only giving us the parts of Earth that are germane to the story. Right. And I don't see how anyone would just suddenly decide, oh, well, this is a terrible future just from those 3 episodes.
No, I didn't say terrible future. I'm just saying they're not seeing the utopia future that we've been told about.
It isn't a utopia! It's not a utopia. That's the thing.
I will say I see your point, Bruce, for sure. I will say this is probably the most we've seen of future Earth at one time in any Star Trek ever, I think.
Right.
It's definitely the most time we've spent on Earth. Most of what we've gotten before is people talking about how Earth is and all this kind of stuff. So,
right. That's what I'm saying. There's not little hints like that in dialogue that comes up. I mean, I know I don't want it to be forced in. I'm just saying that when I was watching this episode, I thought, gosh, you know, we're seeing kind of the lows of these characters right now, because they're going to elevate probably over time, because that's part of this story. But I'm just saying that we're not really seeing this. We're spending so much time on Earth, and there's no hints or recognition as to how Earth is at this time for anybody who knew coming into Star Trek. Yeah, we don't see that in the first 3 episodes of Next Generation either. They're not talking about on Deep Space Nine all the time either. I'm just saying, while we're based on Earth, I'd almost like to see little hints of that, or little mentions of something that says this is a different Earth than the Earth we are today. We've advanced better in something. And I just haven't seen that. That's all. And I do see a comment in the chat, and I thought about that too, about Cisco's dad's New Orleans restaurant. I used to wonder, like, do you go in the restaurant and just eat and then leave? Or do you pay? You know, there's got to be some kind of credits, right? Or you just go in and order everything off the menu. It's free. I don't know.
I've always, I don't know exactly. I always assumed there was some kind of credit system, whether it's like a universal basic income and then whatever on top of that or something. Because, you know, they talk about using transporter credits a month's worth in a few days or something like that. So, like, there's still got to be resource and energy allocation of some kind and some way to determine that. So, like, the economics of Star Trek is something that, like, there are whole books about that don't come to a conclusion as to exactly how it works. So, I don't know, is the short answer there.
Well, see, okay. Let's just for a second, you know, think about all of Trek as a whole, okay? And about this utopia-like future that it seems to present. How many times have we seen in every Trek series how it is not a utopia?
I know. It's not a total utopia.
I know, because when you stop trying to grow, you stagnate. And Starfleet has actually backslid. Starfleet and the Federation have actually backslid even further into racism and intolerance and fear. And I think anyone living today would probably be able to, if anything, identify with that and go, oh my gosh, nothing's perfect. And there are still struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that you don't fight against those things that are happening. It just means, oh, I could actually be in that future. I could actually live there and actually understand and grow. That's just the way I look at it, because perfection is A, impossible, and B, kind of boring sometimes.
And the thing is, I mean, over history, humans don't change that much. We don't stop being human.
No, we do not.
200, 300 years from now, we're not going to be perfect. We may be better at things, but we're still human. There's still going to be flaws, and that's humanity. I mean, if we were perfect, we would be gods. And we're not going to be gods in 300 years. And I'll tell you, let me just say this personally.
You forbid.
I think the reason this bothered me and the reason I'm mentioning it is because I have a friend who smokes and vapes, and I've said things to this person of, in the Star Trek future, people aren't vaping. We bettered ourselves. We take care of ourselves better. You should learn from Star Trek. And this is the one series he's now watching. And when I saw her vaping in the smoking, I was like, oh my gosh, like he's probably going to come back to me and go, I thought you told me in the future that we bettered ourselves and we're not smoking and killing ourselves. That's why it stood out to me. And I was kind of a little disappointed in that. But from a story standpoint, yes, I get it. And I do enjoy the story. I like the episode. I like you guys, and I like the series. Not necessarily all in that order.
So
okay.
the one thing I will say,
liking us is like third, right?
No, I was going to say you're first.
So I will say where I think they're going with the story and showing that sort of self-destructive behavior, particularly on the part of Raffi. Maybe that's a very good thing that your friend is watching that, because I think where they're going with that is what, her
that's
experiences have led her into this depression, and that it is ultimately self-destructive and yada, yada, yada.
Yes. And as the series goes, they're bettering themselves. They're feeling better about who they are. That's what I'm hoping. Yes. And I think we will get there for sure.
As just being within the proximity of Patrick Stewart is want to make you do. Sorry, I should say Captain Picard, but also Patrick Stewart.
Captain Picard, or just he's not a captain.
He's not a captain. He's a retired admiral.
Did you see the way he looked at that chair on the La Sirena?
Yes.
He's Captain Picard.
No, he looked at it and then he's just like, no, I better not. I'm gonna sit over here.
He should have just sat in it.
Did anybody else have flashbacks to Kirk on the Enterprise B?
Yes.
Yes.
Harriman, gentlemen, take your seats, and he's like, yes, of course.
Yes.
Totally.
And when he keeps almost getting up, and Scott says, "Is there something wrong with your?"
Yep, definitely.
Oh, sorry. Good times. Good times.
What do you think that thing was in Rio's shoulder? How'd that get there?
I don't know. It looked like a part of a weapon.
I kept thinking he must have gotten in a fight with like a Klingon or something.
Yeah, it could have been part of a batleth.
Yeah.
I love that they didn't even explain it.
Yeah.
No, I know. They didn't
he toss alcohol on it? Isn't that what he did?
Yeah. He offered it to Picard, who said no, and then he chucked it on his shoulder. Disinfectant, man. Alcohol is a disinfectant. So,
or was he drowning his mermaid tattoo?
No, that wasn't where his tattoo was.
Oh,
But
I didn't even notice that it was a mermaid. So I'm glad you
he's-
pointed that out.
no problem. He seems to like scars, which is why he didn't let his hologram use the dermal regenerator.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No, just pulled the sweater on over it.
Yep. It's like, whoa, you're not even going to clean up the blood? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Okay.
I think that guy needs to clean his act up. You know, I mean, I don't trust guys with beards. Just saying. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm growing out mine. I don't trust myself. I wouldn't even make myself an EMH. What else is going on? What else?
Well, we should
Hugh.
talk
gotta
about
talk Hugh, too.
the Borg ship.
Yeah.
Hugh
No, the
and-
artifact. The artifact.
The artifact. Tell us about the artifact, Dan. What did you like about the artifact? The artifact.
Okay, so this whole bit was actually the part that I was glad I watched it a second time, because I was kind of going, I don't know what's going on. I'm not really getting this.
Same.
But there's some interesting stuff there for sure. So this Ramda was her name.
Yeah.
Rhonda. Yes, not Rhonda, although it sounded like Rhonda.
It kept sounding like Rhonda.
Help me,
That's
Rhonda.
exactly what was going through my head. I'm sad to say.
But yet I had to sing it.
But yeah, so she's an expert on Romulan mythology, although she hates that word.
Yes.
Which is, interesting. So
I'm sorry. I'm going to just be shouting out, yes. Ooh, yeah. All the time. Go on. Sorry.
So there's something about these synthetic twins, possibly, that have a root in Romulan mythology. She says that she saw her tomorrow. And
yes.
It's really like, there's a whole bunch of clues here that I'm sure after the next however many episodes are going to make a heck of a lot more sense. But they're really setting some stuff up, and I'm not sure what that picture is going to look like at the end.
Okay, when she said about tomorrow, I thought the song Tomorrow, Tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow.
I felt that eye roll from here.
You're only a soji away. Brandi doesn't want to laugh, but she does. She does.
It's just that song will get stuck in my head, and then I will not be able to get it out. And I know every stinking word of it too. Ugh. Sorry.
I don't know. So what about tomorrow?
Yeah, just that, like, is this a kind of prophecy that's going to be fulfilled, or I'm not sure what to make of that exactly.
How is she the destroyer?
Yeah, the destroyer. So Ramda calls her that at the same time that the Jadvash guy is calling her that, being interrogated on Picard's vineyard. Interesting. That's all I have to say about it, because I don't know what any of it means yet. No. Although I will say, did either of you notice that her badge, that they said if it glows green, run, or like if it flashes, run, it turned green for like a split second during the conversation with Ramda?
I think that was just a reflection.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Because if it turned green, then it would have stayed green so that you could see that it was green and run. That was what I took from it. So I think it was actually just a trick of the light. It was light reflecting off of it.
Okay, so I didn't notice the green, but Dan, I saw you tweet out a picture, and I wondered, Brandi, what you're just saying. I was like, or is that a reflection of light on it? So,
it could very well be.
Because I didn't notice it the 3 times I watched it. But I don't know. Now I want to go back and look. But I'm not going to do that right now. You know, automated.
We'll wait.
No. I'm going to look at the comic first. Automated Joy is in the chat saying Romulus and Remus were twins in mythology.
And their mother was a wolf.
So is there some connection to all that too? The Destroyer. I keep thinking about the Destroyer and tomorrow. Like, I don't know.
And like maybe linking it to the supernova somehow that destroyed the Romulan worlds. I don't know.
Okay, here's my weird theory. Because the whole I met you tomorrow thing. I think that knowing Soji is part of something left over from the Borg. I think the Borg has some knowledge of these particular synths. And because this particular group, which are all Romulan, are unable to fully process, not being Borg anymore. And because something went horribly wrong when they were assimilated too, we don't know anything about exactly what happened there. I think it may be knowledge from the Borg. And that's what's coming to her now. I don't know if that's true. I really don't have enough information, but that's my harebrained theory for the moment.
Makes as much sense as anything that I've thought of. So.
Yeah, I know. And now I'm just thinking about the comment about, which one are you?
The one who lived,
Yeah.
or the one who died is die. The one who dies is the one who lives. That's what she says. The one who dies is the one who lives. So
it's almost like a prophecy. Maybe that's what she means about tomorrow. That she knows the prophecy of something to come. And that's why I met you tomorrow, because I've seen the future and the prophecy of something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
Maybe we should keep watching this series as it comes out. Each episode. So my nose is cold. Sorry.
There's kind of a discussion in the chat going on about the badge and the fact that it lights up green, meaning danger. I love that, because I had the same thought that Zamboni Josiah says, which is, if it was a human thing, red means danger because red is the color of human blood. But because Romulan blood is green, green means danger.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And I was like, I love that.
Yeah,
or
that
it's
makes
green
sense.
because Borg stuff is green.
Oh
but
my gosh,
I prefer the other one.
No, green is definitely danger for the Romulans because their disruptors are green.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
true too. Oh my gosh, I never knew this. I never connected it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I did a long time ago.
So why aren't the Klingons disruptors purple? I want them to be now.
No, it's not really purple so much as sort of a Pepto-Bismol color.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, when I'm having stomach cramps, I'm thinking of some Klingon blood.
So you're saying if we were to be driving on Romulus, we'd be getting it all wrong because the light would turn green and we'd go, but we should actually be stopping?
That's right. You'd be running green lights. Yep. That's illegal. You can make right turns on green, though.
Oh, yeah. You have to come to a complete stop first, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Why am I? I bumped my desk and I apologize to it. That's so weird.
Hey,
my Canadianness is rubbing off on you, Bruce.
Yeah.
I get weirder as the night goes on.
Excellent.
That's why we try to keep the show to an hour now.
And we haven't managed yet.
So,
on this one.
So after the whole thing with Ramda, she calls her mother and asks, is Daj okay?
Yeah.
And the mother starts, oh, she's fine. She wants a puppy, blah, blah, blah. But something's going on and she gets kind of knocked out.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of that?
I don't know. Well, when I saw
some sort of protective program or something.
It was a protective program to keep her from questioning what's going on with her sister.
Because when she wakes up, it's not on her mind anymore.
Well, and when she wakes up, Narek walks us in.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder if he's also part of that whole knock her out until I get there.
I don't think so. I think that the whole thing with contacting her mother is definitely part of the programming of both of the sisters, because we had that same thing happen with Daj in a different way when, her mother kept telling her to go back to Picard.
Yeah.
And glitching out. So I'm sure that, because obviously they have no mother. So,
right.
It's definitely pre-programmed responses depending on what the synth is asking, in order to keep them from learning the truth about themselves, about their situation, about, the world around them, etc. To what end, I can't tell you. But I think it's a protective measure that is built into the synths themselves and not something that is being controlled by the Romulans.
That was my impression as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. And there was something I was going to say about that, and I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
No, I just, it's this water. I've been drinking too much of it.
Oh, I thought that was gin.
I said it was, but it's not.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't really actually think it was gin.
Oh, well, I thought it was. Hey, so I see the chat. I don't know if we want to jump all over the place, but that's what we do here about Agnes.
Yes, I was wanting to get there eventually.
Is she who we really think she is?
Okay, here's my take. Okay, so let's just catch up to there a little bit. So we get the Romulans attacking the vineyard. Laris and Jabon are awesome and take them all out except for one who's taken out by Agnes as she comes in very coincidentally after this conversation that she's had with Commodore O, asking her what Picard wanted with her and all this kind of stuff. So I think Agnes is Agnes. I think this is just my whatever, but there was definitely more to that conversation between her and Commodore O than she's telling us. I don't know if maybe she's reporting to her on Picard's actions or something, but there's something more there just from the way it was given to us. And then we have to rely on her telling us what happened in that conversation. I don't know. There's just something more there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's not even that sinister, but there's something more there that we're going to find out later, I think.
Well, I know what Brandi's thinking right now. I know her theory on this. And that is Commodore O approaches Agnes. And then we cut away from that scene. And what we didn't see is that Commodore O is actually a shapeshifter and took on the identity of Agnes. And that's who's now on with Picard, right? Is that what you're thinking, Brandi?
Nope, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit, because it would have to be a very advanced shapeshifter that could absorb memories well. So I really just do.
She ate Agnes, swallowed her, and got her memories in her head.
No, that's not what I was thinking at all.
Chris Lofield says Commodore O is a founder. I thought she's from the Mirror Universe because she's wearing sunglasses.
Oh,
I think she's actually that coalescent life form from the TNG episode Aquiel, who is the dog.
You go. She's the thing. That's what she is. She's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the alien never got off the planet. They thought they killed it, but no. Now it's a Commodore over security in Starfleet.
Yep.
That guy's been around forever.
Commodore Thing. Yeah.
Commodore Thing. Yes. Guys, if you haven't seen The Thing, it's awesome. You should watch it. Not the crap prequel remake thing. Don't watch that. No.
Oh, okay.
The original 1980 John Carpenter's The Thing with Kurt Russell. Watch it. You will laugh and scream at the same time.
So what do you...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Brandi about Agnes. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts or theory? I mean,
No.
I think she's doing something for O, but I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure either. There probably was more to the conversation, but it also seems like Agnes is slightly flighty. So
she doesn't she? Yeah.
That could explain why because after she was like, I'm going to this is what I didn't tell her. And then they get interrupted by the Romulan waking up, which was so funny that it basically looked like Laris was squirting him with a water bottle like he was a bad cat.
I know last week was pretty much a Laris and Jabon love fest from us, but can I just say again how much I love these two? Like, I stole this from someone. I can't remember who initially said this, but like at the end of the entire season, Picard is going to return to the vineyard, and there's just going to be a pile of Romulan bodies. And they're going to be like, took you long enough to get back. These feckers keep attacking.
Those cheeky feckers. But anyway, long story short, after they talk to the Romulan and everything, Agnes has completely forgotten that they were saying anything about anything. And Picard is the one who says to her, you said that you didn't tell her everything. And then she's like, oh, yeah. So it's just, she just seems a little bit flighty. And that may be the explanation, is that not that she's necessarily keeping something, but just that she already had said she's a terrible liar. So,
or is she, though?
I don't know. She seems like a pretty terrible liar to me. But appearances can be deceiving. It may just all be a big, long con. I can't say for sure.
Con! I had to. I just had to.
No, you have to do it like this. You have to do. Con!
Wait, which is that from Into Darkness?
No.
Oh man. Well, Automated Joy says Agnes is Q. You heard it here first. So
oh my gosh.
There you go.
No.
I pray not. I really don't want that to be true. I don't want that. It's not that I'm opposed to having Q. I just don't want that. I don't want her to be Q. I just no. I don't know how he could play that straight for that long. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Agnes's kind of flightiness, her meeting Raffi on the ship.
Again, evidence that she's kind of flighty.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
Raffi's just like looking down her nose at this little blonde, like, who are you? What I haven't even run a security check on this person. What do you? You're just gonna bring Agnes on?
And Agnes is just like, okay.
Hi, Agnes Cherati. So great. I loved it.
Yeah. And Raffi's first impression of her was just like, this idiot's coming with you. So, I don't know. Just my read on the situation as to what we have been presented with is that she's a flake. So that could explain why we don't know more about the actual conversation.
Well, she could be Soji's mom. She can't be too much of a flake.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I don't know. She worked in the lab. You never know.
Yeah, but this was...
I don't think she is, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
She had she could have had something to do with it. I'm just looking through my notes. A lot of things we covered. We didn't really talk much about Hugh.
No.
Oh, Hugh.
Yeah. I did want to bring up Jonathan Del Arco, seeing him back as
My
Hugh.
heart.
And the only way I would know it was Hugh was because I run the YouTube channel and look at all the background stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that like he gets referred to by name as Hugh once, and it's quite a bit after he's first introduced in the episode. But really cool to see him again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I adore him. There's so much to love in this show. So much to love.
Chris Littlefield is swooning in the comments over Jonathan Del Arco, and yeah, he's amazing. I love that guy. Oh.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's also like 53 years old, which just floored me. I'm like, what? Looking good.
I didn't realize he was an old man.
Yeah,
I want to look half that good at 38. Like, that's amazing.
You have to get assimilated by the Borg to look that
there
good.
You go.
Yeah, there you go. Just get yourself assimilated and then freed from assimilation.
Because when we first meet 7 of 9, she was 68 years old.
Oh, Jerry Ryan in her 50s too, and dang.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
When are we going to see her pop up? We don't even know what episode that is.
I don't know, but I'm ready for it. Bring her on.
Yeah, and
it's interesting because in the trailers she was at Picard's vineyard, so Picard comes back home at some point.
So Dan, I know you said when you watch it, you don't get the scenes from next week's episode preview.
Right. Yeah, I don't see that.
But I saw scenes. Oh gosh, I can't remember, but it looked like Picard was back in his office at the chateau talking.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was Agnes or somebody, and I was like, wait a second, do they go back in the next episode back to Earth? I don't know.
Picard's like, I
been...
forgot that plum that was dropped. I have to go back.
That plum.
I feel like since it's such a quick look, it may not necessarily be the chateau, because
it was quick.
We're seeing all of those flashbacks. I mean, like next episode, there's going to be flashbacks when he's visiting this Romulan colony, where we're going to pick up our Romulan samurai, and we're going to see his backstory in a flashback, or at least part of it. And so it is quite possible that that's where he was for that.
Yes, you're right. It could be a flashback for sure.
Well, it may not necessarily be a flashback though.
Or it couldn't even. It could just be somewhere else.
I think he's just going there to pick up his, to get his
lost plum
samurai boy on the crew.
Oh, okay.
And so, but we're going to see him as a young child, because I'm assuming he was the young Romulan child that we were seeing in that particular thing. So, yeah.
Well, and don't we get Riker and Troy in episodes 5 and 6? That's what stands out in my mind that I heard back.
I don't remember what
months
ago it was, but they're in there somewhere. We've seen it, the stuff.
Yeah.
The next 2 episodes are directed by Jonathan Frakes, which I'm excited about as well. I love Hanali Culpepper. Her direction has been amazing.
Yes.
But Jonathan Frakes, that's just always a joy too.
Yeah.
Frakes is an actor's director, because he knows what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. And so he knows how to talk to actors, and he knows how to get performances out of those actors. And everybody loves him. I have not heard one bad thing about ever working with Frakes as a director. Everybody loves him.
Me either. I call my friends and they tell me how much they enjoy him directing. I don't know. Okay. I don't have any friends, so don't worry.
Oh, thanks.
Except for you guys. But in the chat, they keep talking about people in their 50s looking like in their 30s. 50s is the new 30s.
Yes.
So that makes me in my 30s now. So
excellent. I am looking forward to getting back in my 30s in a few years.
Yeah.
Because I thought my 40s were the new 30s, but now I'm realizing no, it's the 50s too. So I'm just going to keep reverting back and back until I look like a baby again. No, I don't want to look like a baby again. I was not an attractive child.
Oh, it shows pictures.
No.
I don't have any pictures of me from way back.
Automated Joy has a good point. Baby Yoda is also 50. So
yes, but they also live like a millennium. So that's still, very young.
Yeah, but he does really look good for his age.
He does.
Really.
And then
really.
Cardinal Doomsday asked, and I can answer this. He says they don't get the next week on Picard Bit in Canada either. I thought it was just me. On Crave, it's not. I don't know about CTV Sci-Fi Channel. They might, but on Crave, there's no preview for.
I don't know, but this is weird. I mentioned this on either last week or the week before. Same thing happened when I watch. So I see it on CBS All Access. When I watch it on our Roku or on my laptop, it shows the previews for next week. But when I watch on our Apple TV, which is in our bedroom with my wife, they never show it on there. Even though it's still CBS All Access, because every time I always see it before she does. So I'm seeing it the second or third time when she's watching it. And we're usually watching in our room, and she never gets to see the next week preview because it never shows up on Apple TV. I think that's really weird. So maybe it's just like certain platforms or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Interesting.
Well, then get with it, Apple TV. Good grief. and all platforms outside the continental United States. Get with it. Show that next time on stuff.
Do they put those like on YouTube or something so you can see the previews?
I'm pretty sure they do put them on YouTube.
Yeah, somebody puts them on YouTube somewhere. The thing is, I can't watch the CBS's Star Trek YouTube channel because I'm in Canada and they geo-block it.
What?
But yeah.
I am so sick of geo-blocking. In this day and age, there is absolutely no reason to do that. Just stop it. I'm sorry, Dan.
It's all good.
On behalf of all of America, I apologize to you.
There are ways for me to see it, so I'll just, there are such things as VPNs, which
I was just gonna say,
no.
VPNs. No, I don't know what that is.
I don't know that either.
A very personal something that starts with N. I got nothing.
My BBC iPlayer works fine. I don't know anything about the VPN thing.
So is there anything from the episode we didn't bring up? I can think of one. I don't know if how much we want to discuss it though.
I just wanted to bring XBs. Not that there's much, but I thought that was an interesting term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The most hated people in the galaxy, or something like that, or how did he put it? Interesting.
Yeah.
Ex-Borgs are not popular.
Right.
Racism.
Refugees.
I thought we got better than this in the 24th century. What were you going to say, Brandi, besides about free cloud? Because that's another thing we got to bring up.
No, I was just going to say two things. One, I love how many weapons were hidden around the chateau.
Yes.
That it was exactly what I expected. When you have two Romulans taking care of you, I'm like, you dang right, they have weapons everywhere.
That was great.
And they didn't even necessarily need all of Phase pistols. I mean, they had knives and broken bottles, and they're scrappers, those guys.
Picard had his cane.
Yeah. Didn't do so well with it, but
not so much.
Anyway. Another thing is now we get to see Rizzo back as a Romulan, and
this is the thing I was going to bring up.
Yeah. So the little interchange with Karen, and because I'm sorry, he's always going to be Karen to me, with Karen and Soji, and he whispers that he's falling in love with her, and I was just like, I'm actually not 100% sure that's a lie. I think that he's starting to not consciously have feelings for her, but I think that might be an interesting complication, especially when his sister tells him don't fall in love. And like when she was saying that she could smell her on him and that it was very carnal, and he like took a step back, out of her grasp, and I was like, interesting.
There could definitely be a redemption arc for Narek / Karen. So the scene between him and his Romulan sister, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming she called him brother and little brother or baby brother in the previous episode.
She called him brother in this one too.
Yeah, not just like colloquially, like we're assuming they're blood related, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but there was a definite subtext in that scene. I'm not the only one that saw that, right?
But it was all from her. It was all from her. And he was not on board with it. He wasn't on board with it when she was still a hologram communicating it across the galaxy. But in person, it was even more. There was a kind of revulsion on his side. So gross.
Yeah, I've seen it elsewhere, but like hashtag Romulannisters.
Oh gosh.
So I don't know. No, maybe if that did happen earlier in life, then she probably forced it. But he just does not seem into that at all.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew Reynolds in the comments. That scene was hard to watch. Like I just
I was just like
squidgy.
Just run away.
Yeah, that was a scene I was just like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to make out of this. What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
She's gross. In the best way. That actress is actually really amazing because she is not British. That girl from Boston. So
that's interesting.
She's very, very good. I like the actress a lot. Excuse me. I'm not going to make acting a gender thing. She's a great actor.
Like in the last episode, like seconds before it was revealed, and I'm not making this up. I was thinking in the back of my mind, she'd make a really good Romulan. And then like it was like, oh, okay, she's a Romulan. And then getting to see her as a Romulan in this episode, I was like, yeah, like that look was perfect for her.
Yeah. It was
And
very good.
incredible actor. Like you're saying, I would have just assumed totally from the British Isles. So
Nope.
awesome.
She's really good. Really good.
Have you seen her in other stuff? Or that you know of? Okay. I just wanted.
Actually, I have seen her, but not known it was her. If that makes any sense, because I have seen some other things that she's been in, but didn't know, didn't make the connection until I looked her up on IMDb. But the fact that I couldn't connect those two things means that she did such a good job on that other thing that I didn't assume it was the same person that I was seeing in this episode. So that's a roundabout way of saying I think she's really great.
And I think Dan's looking up IMDb right now.
Sorry, somebody just mentioned that she was in The Flash.
Yes.
Paul Need. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but wow, yep, that's her. I have seen her. That's crazy.
Okay, well, I thought she looked familiar, so maybe I did see her in Flash.
Yeah.
I've watched The Flash.
Indeed.
I don't watch anymore, but
oh, come on, you didn't see Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Oh no, I watched that, but I didn't
Okay,
watch. I'm not watching the whole season of Flash. I dropped out like in season 3.
That's fine. You don't have to watch it.
Too much timey-wimey. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but anyway, I think she's great. Very
good. Do you now?
I totally do.
Oh my god.
No, my god. Totally.
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to talk about? I feel like we got it. Oh, the free cloud. I wanted to mention that real quick. Every time they say free cloud, I keep thinking like, the cloud, but it's a free version that you can upload your files into.
No, it's a place. It seems like a place because Raffi said that Bruce Maddox was on Free Cloud.
Someone,
technically, that could also mean it's some kind of social network. but no, they're going to Free Cloud. They're going to Free Cloud.
I thought it was Tinder or something like that. What? So I can't remember.
Swiped right on Free Cloud.
It was. It was somewhere earlier. Somebody wants to say it again. Somebody said they saw dice on it.
Yeah, in the little holographic display when Raffi was doing her hacking there, and she discovered the code that originated on Free Cloud, and they showed the splash screen for Free Cloud with the dice rolling underneath. So
it's not Han Solo's dice.
No, it feels like maybe like a libertarian paradise place with lots of gambling or something like that. That's just my impression I get from the name and then that graphic.
Oh, so. It's Canto Bite.
I'm thinking people go there to, get drunk or high and then gamble.
Space Vegas.
So it's just yes, it's a giant. It's a planet that's Vegas. That's kind of what I think it is. And who would look for Bruce Maddox there? I mean, really, of all the places in the universe that you think he might be, would you look in Space Vegas? No, you would not.
It is kind of interesting, though. I did note that when Raffi said he's on Free Cloud, Picard was kind of like, oh, Free Cloud, of course. Like, that's where you'd go to hide out or something. So,
or it was like, oh, Free Cloud, we have to go to Free Cloud. Ugh. I don't know.
Maybe he's attending STFC as opposed to STLV.
I like it.
And instead of it being at the Rio, it's at the Rios.
What would a Star Trek convention in the Star Trek universe look like?
Oh, it would implode on itself is what would happen. It would open a dimensional rift that would suck in everything. Probably. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's try it.
So yeah, Free Cloud's never been mentioned before, right?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I've never noticed it mentioned it before. Did we lose Bruce?
No, I just wanted to see what happened if I turned my camera on.
All right.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Okay, we're back to this.
There we go.
Hey.
Oh, man. Right. It seems I'm acting like I've been drinking, but unfortunately,
I wish we
all
were
normal.
Should we do that next time?
Well, I could make a nice hot toddy before we start. No, I don't drink before podcasting anymore.
I don't either.
Anymore. I like that.
I don't either.
Yeah. I haven't done that in 10 years. So
yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, next week. Hey, it's Valentine's Day on Friday next week.
Yeah.
I want to stay married. I don't know what we're gonna do next week. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Not sure. We're going out on the 12th instead of the 14th. So
smart.
Brandi, if you still want to do a live cast, I am available. I don't know how many people will have watching if it's Valentine's Day.
Well, the thing is that the 12th will be before the next episode comes out, so that's not really going to work.
No, the 14th is the Friday.
I know, but
no, he's saying
I'm going. Sorry. So
you need to start drinking, Brandi.
I am free on the 14th.
I still might be here. It just depends.
I'm with you.
Bye, Chris Littlefield, by the way.
Bye.
I'm with you on that. I'm available because Dave and I don't do the mass exodus into restaurants on the actual day of Valentine's.
Oh, we won't either.
Because that is folly. We did it one year and it was terrible. It's a good excuse to go out. We just don't do it on the day.
And the worst is a Friday night too. That's going to be even worse.
It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. So bad.
Make your reservations now.
Everyone watching, what you should do instead is tune into a live cast instead of that.
We are your alternative to going out. On a Friday night.
Spend your Valentines with us. Be ours. Be ours.
And you can do it as a couple too. I mean,
That's true.
I can't think of anything more romantic.
Have a glass of wine, sit back and enjoy this chat with us. We'll make it a live Valentine after dark chat.
And we'll all use our sexy voices for the entire podcast. You will never hear my voice get more excited than what you're hearing right now.
We'll be a bunch of Narek saying, I think I'm falling in love with you.
I don't have a sexy voice, so you're going to hear me talking like that.
Oh, no, it's a matter of opinion.
Everybody has a sexy voice because all you have to do is make it so soft, like this. And really, that's all anyone has.
And this is for Dave.
I know his things. I know his ASMR triggers.
Oh, wow. This might be a good show next week.
All right.
Hey, we're losing viewers.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Okay, final thoughts on episode 3. The end is the beginning. And before you guys give your final thoughts, I'm going to ask the chat to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being awesome, 1 being this sucks. So let us know what you think. And Brandi, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, I think that this episode was really interesting. And I actually really loved Rios's ship. I didn't mention that earlier, but I think that ship is the bomb. And I want a model of it immediately. And I actually think that it things. I think that it's just things that are going to be paid off later and setting things up for later episodes. So I give it all of the thumbs up right now, even the really creepy scene with Narek and his sister.
All right.
Damn.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. I feel really uncomfortable.
I was just whispering. I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Oh no, you're fine. Bruce makes me uncomfortable. No. I enjoyed this episode. This was one, after I watched it the first time, I didn't quite know how I felt about it. There were some things that kind of bugged me. So this one, watching it the second time, really helped coalesce everything. And that's the first time this has happened to me for Picard, where I was kind of like, at the end of the episode, I was like, I don't know how I felt about that. Like, there were some things that just kind of irked me. And then watching it the second time, those things didn't bug me anymore. And I think that was honestly just putting the pieces in the right order and figuring it all out kind of thing as best you can from this. The other thing about it is these first 3 episodes kind of feel like one big episode, if that makes sense. Like,
I heard about that early from people who saw the preview, that it's like the first 3 are like the setup.
Right. So yeah, this almost feels like the end of the first episode or the first chapter, basically. And kind of taken in that context, I really liked how everything wrapped up and where we get to at the end of this. Yes, that ship, the La Serena, is sexy as hell, and I want a model of it immediately.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And then seeing it go to warp with Picard giving his engage with the, finally the full TNG theme playing as it takes off. Beautiful. So yeah, I'm all about where this series is going. And all the thumbs up for me for that block of 3 episodes.
Wow. Now I'm loving the show. I would say the 3rd episode was my least favorite of the 3, but as a whole, I'm really liking this. As Aaron points out in the chat, at the premiere they showed all 3 for that reason that we discussed. So I think that's what it is. I'm really anxious now to get there. I think that's probably what I'm feeling. It's like, okay, we've set things up. Now let's really start getting into the meat of the story. And I'm so anxious for that as we go along. So, this was my least favorite of the 3, but it's still strong, very strong. I'm looking here in the chat. I'm seeing 4s. I see a couple 3s. I'm seeing some 5s. I'm seeing more 4s, probably a little more. I see some 4s and maybe 5s are close to that. So definitely high up in there for the chat. And Dave says tingles. I don't know where that rates. Brandi, could you translate that for us?
That's how he feels when he has an ASMR reaction. It's like getting goosebumps and tingles. So, and it's not sexual, for heaven's sake.
No one said it was. It's just
You're
so
just
weird
acting like it's really weird. It's not.
I think it's weird.
A lot of people have ASMR reactions.
I don't want to get on into this, but I watch ASMR videos every once in a while because they crack me up. Like if I need a good laugh, I watch those. So that's my reaction. Everybody's reaction is different. It doesn't do anything for me except make me laugh. I just think it's funny.
The thing is that there is no one thing that triggers everybody.
It's triggering me, but just in laughter.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, there are many different ways that an ASMR reaction can be triggered, and it has to do with sounds, but not necessarily whispering, not necessarily crinkling paper, not necessarily any one specific thing. So that's why there's such a variety.
An hour of this.
That actually sounded like a crackling fire if you weren't looking at it.
It wasn't. It's coupons from Arby's, okay?
Okay, well, yeah, definitely crumple those up.
I had these because I had this in the car and I had to write a note about something. Oh, now I'm just like totally confused. I don't know how to end the show. We don't have music. Somebody asked about wait, hold on. Somebody asked about Positively Trek a moment ago. Wayne Fraser asked about it. Dan, please give us an update on that podcast.
Yes.
Because I don't have an answer.
It is happening soon.
Good.
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yes, we should yeah, it's happening. Don't worry.
Soon. Now, I can't define soon. It just means sometime in the future.
How much time do you have next week? When are you free next week is my question.
It's not looking good.
Okay.
Because
maybe not soon, but soon.
I'll be in the Bahamas next week.
Oh.
So and a convention, so I'm not really gonna have any free time next week. And then we got
you're enjoying
Valentine's
yourself
Day.
in the Bahamas and I'm stuck here in northern Alberta. I ain't gonna be feeling positively about anything.
Hey, I'll tell you this, I would try to make time there to do the show from the Bahamas. It's just, first of all, I don't know what time I will have, and second of all, I don't know how well my internet connection will be.
Fair enough.
And I don't want to start a new show going, damn this internet, I can't get it to work.
Why not? That's how I do every show.
Lately, yeah. I don't know what's going on. What's going on in Canada? Because Barry DeForce is having issues too when his live show on Sunday nights. I'm giving a plug to the Trek Geeks live show. If you like these things, they do one on there. It's not as good as this one, but no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it would be pretty hard to be as good as this.
Yeah, because then these like Trek Geek guys come in the middle of it and start taking over the show, and it's just like I participated last week while watching the Super Bowl all at the same time.
Nice.
It was fun.
He says it like he's trying to force us to believe it was fun.
Well, it was fun, except the point is anytime I made a comment in the chat, because Barry will read all the comments in the chat because there's only like 5 people in the chat, so he can read them all. Because the show just started, he needs time to build. But I don't know. For some reason, it just seemed like he was always rolling his eyes every time he read one of my comments. And same with Shashank. So, I mean, at least we were in the same boat. So.
Well, the thing is that the chat is a little bit behind the live broadcast, so maybe he wasn't rolling his eyes at you.
No, he would read the comment.
Oh, he was okay. So he was absolutely rolling his eyes at you.
That's what I'm saying.
He made sure to make sure that you knew he was rolling his eyes at you.
He was rolling his eyes, or he'd just have a look of disgust on his face. I couldn't tell. I mean, it's the same kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
So quick question. Do they do it on YouTube like this, or?
They do it on YouTube and they use StreamYard. Like we do.
Okay. All right. Excellent. I was supposed to tune in last week, but I did not get a chance. So
if anybody wants to tune in, it's a little different live show than us. It's 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube on the Trek Geeks YouTube page, channel, thing. Whatever that check it out, and then it's released as a podcast. Where this one here, what we're doing now is not until we launch Positively Trek. Maybe we'll release them as podcasts. Maybe.
Well, to be fair, the video is still available after the live show ends.
That's true.
So it's not as if you can't watch it later.
And people have noticed that because I think the last week's show, the last I looked, there was like over 800 views of it.
Yeah, no, they do get a lot of views after the fact, which is really cool. So
yeah.
So
I don't know if they're CBS lawyers and they have like a department of 800 people.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a bit of CBS All Access news. So Viacom and CBS have merged to Viacom CBS, and they are possibly looking at doing something more with CBS All Access and putting their Viacom properties like Nickelodeon, MTV, and that such, Comedy Central and stuff into that. They own Pluto TV, which is a free streaming it was a free service of streaming live channels, and they might kind of merge that into it. So there'd be like a free version with ads. So maybe you could see Picard free eventually one day with ads. I don't know. But then there'll be a premium version. More likely Picard will be in the premium version where you pay a little more. But so there'll be different levels. And it's something like other programmers are doing. NBC Universal doing something similar with Peacock, which is launching, I think, in May. So we may see something a little different on CBS All Access in the near future. So I'm going to try to find out more about it because I have a meeting with Pluto TV in a couple weeks. Just pick their brain.
I thought it was going to be that was going to be more like CBS All Access, where you still had to pay for it regardless. But if you paid more, you got no commercials.
Well, okay, so today that's how it is. You pay for it.
No, I know, but the article that I read said that they were kind of possibly building this on that same model.
Yes, a very similar model. But what I read is they're also considering having a free version. Of limited content.
The article I read did not have that. Interesting.
Yeah. And that's what Peacock is doing. They're going to have a free version. And then if you go up to like $5, you still get commercials, but you're getting more content. And then if you go up to higher, then you're not getting some commercials. So there's different levels and things like that. Let me just say this. The new thing is people who charge fees are looking at ways to do free content. And I know several companies who are looking into that I can't discuss on here because of NDAs, but it's coming.
Interesting.
By the way, anyone who doesn't know what an NDA, it's a non-disclosure agreement, meaning you can't talk about a thing. Actors have to sign them all the freaking time. And have to lie about things, like when Benedict Cumberbatch is like, hey, he couldn't say he was going to be Doctor Strange, but everybody's like, you're going to be Doctor Strange, right? And he's like, no, I'm absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He should say, what's Doctor Strange?
Yeah, and then they finally announce it, and it's like, okay, sorry, guys. NDA.
When I go to Lucasfilm just to eat lunch in the cafeteria, I have to sign an NDA. Seriously,
I believe that. I believe that.
My favorite one from recent years has to be Ewan McGregor, who had all the fans are like, they need to bring back Obi-Wan Kenobi on a TV series. Let's petition them. And he's like, oh, I would certainly be interested if it were to happen. And he's known for like 5 years. He was coming back or whatever, however long it was. That's got to be tough.
It is, but it happens all the time. People who work on movies and television shows and etc. They just can't say anything because they don't want it leaked. And yet there's always somebody who spoils the surprise.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is not allowed to say anything in interviews anymore.
He gets incorrect scripts so that he can't.
I know. Well, and that's the thing. That's why they pair him with other people now for interviews and don't let him go on interviews alone so that other person can just cover his mouth and stop him from spilling the beans.
Yeah, I just signed. I had 3 companies sign NDAs this week. I'm doing a lot more NDAs with companies. Not that my stuff is more interesting than Tom Holland. I mean, he's got probably more interesting than, but yeah. So it's really a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe we should sign NDAs about Positively Trek.
Do I get to sign one? I just would like to say at some point in my life that I signed an NDA to make myself sound important.
I can send you one.
Yeah, fantastic.
We'll whip one up.
I love it.
They're real simple. Hey, we're up to 25 followers on the Positively Trek Twitter feed there. So I'm hoping that before we sign off tonight, we get up to 26. Just saying.
Challenge accepted. Except I've already followed. So
yeah, so you can't do anything about it. So maybe we'll hit 26, hopefully. Actually, if we hit 26, then we'll agree to end the show for tonight.
Yes, that is your ransom. You must follow. One person must become the sacrifice. One person must volunteer as tribute to follow Positively Trek. so that we can all stop this.
So Automated Joy says, does anyone think there's going to be something absolutely shocking that happens on Picard?
Oh, we can't answer that. There's 26 now. I'm just kidding.
Is there?
There is.
Okay, well then we'll talk about
who's
that.
Number 26? Raise your hand in the chat. Oh, we're up to 27 now.
Ooh.
Oh, well. Wow. Wow.
Oh,
I
no.
guess we just can't talk about anything ever again. For
Andrew Reynolds says number 1 dies. That's the shock.
Okay. Can I say how scared I was in this episode that Laris or Jabon were going to die?
I never thought they would die for a second. They are too good.
Yeah, I didn't think they would die, but there was a part of me that was really worried that they were going to make a really stupid decision on the show and kill one of them. And I was like, no, don't. So
no, I'm pretty sure that they kind of knew what the appeal was going to be of these two characters.
Oh, I hope so,
which is not to say they have plot immunity, but they're so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys do you feel like they're kind of out of the show for at least a little bit now that Picard's leaving?
Not necessarily.
I don't know. I assume maybe
not.
they are.
I want to see more.
I know. It's like wanting to see more Baby Yoda, you know?
Oh yeah, Andrew Reynolds when he got spat on with that acid for half a second. I was like,
I know, right? Oh. I was like, no, not this early. Don't. No. And then Picard's like, give me your jacket.
Mm-hmm.
That's destroyed that rug too, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then
in a couple of places. Yeah, instead of cyanide pills, they have acid pills, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I scoop our cat's litter, it's like that. Sometimes there's a cloud of dust like that. And then Picard shows up and he's like, give me your shirt, please. Smell like kitty litter. Engage out of here.
You have a very different experience cleaning kitty litter than I do.
I do have different experience because I've got a freaking cat that now won't use the litter box. I've said this a couple months ago on another show. It likes to it pees in the litter box, but it poops outside of it. So now I got this new special litter that the cats love it. They don't even go the old litter because I got several litter boxes around now. And now I got this big, huge, those little containers, you can store things under your bed. They're big, long things. I bought one of those to make it into a huge litter box because I'm thinking if she doesn't like the smaller space of a litter box, if it's bigger with the litter that's supposed to attract them in, maybe she'll. And I just put it out today, and she always poops at night. She's a night pooper, so I'm hoping she uses that thing tonight. And if that doesn't work, I don't know. She's going to the vet soon too to be checked. So not that this show's about that, but just so you know, when she's pooping on the floor, it's in the basement, in the unfinished basement area. So it's not oh, I'm stepping on kitty poop in the kitchen or anything. It's nothing like that. It's all in an area that no one lives in. But we have a treadmill in that area, and she pooped on that once, and that pissed me off because I wanted to go on the treadmill, and I had to pick her little poop up. But it's fine because it's not messy. It dries up really quick. You just, she plays with it sometimes too, which I don't like.
I'm gonna channel Tilly here. What just happened?
I thought I was Tilly just for this last few minutes.
Stop talking.
I talk more about.
Well, I'm going to call it a night.
Oh yeah, we reached our goal. We can sign off. We got 27. Yeah. So unless there's been another one, I want to just see. It's still 27, right?
Oh, subplot from an episode of Night Court. That's perfect.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh my god.
Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, that show was the first time I saw Brent Spiner.
That's true.
Oh my goodness.
When I was in college, people used to tell me that I look like Harry Anderson, which I didn't think I did, but some people would tell me I did. What is he doing now? I haven't seen him forever.
He passed away.
I was gonna say, I think he passed away, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why he hasn't
away.
been doing anything. Night Pooper's the Destroyer. That's right. All right. I'm gonna change my handle to Night Pooper on Twitter, so you can follow me there. And Dan, where can people follow you online?
I'm on Twitter at Kertrats. That's Kertrats. Of course, Bruce and I do literary treks. Oh, I'm out. I can't drink now. We talk about Star Trek books and comics, and of course on this channel here doing videos all about Star Trek and stuff. So yay.
All right,
Brandi. There we go. Yeah, there.
I'm still laughing about Night Poop.
Check out my Twitter feed now.
Okay.
I'm not changing my handle, Admiral_Rex, and then you'll see what I just did there.
Night Pooper, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Brandywine12. 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 And someday again, when there's Discovery episodes, Bruce and I will be doing a live show for that again. And I do a podcast with my honey bear, Dave. Yes, I call him Honey Bear sometimes. I also call him Sugar Butts.
I call him Night Pooper. Honey Bear Night Pooper.
Damn you. Anyway,
I love being in 7th grade.
We do a podcast called The Dark Corner.
That's where my cat does her business, in a dark corner in the basement. It's true.
I can't breathe. Can you please talk?
Medics, EMH. Get over here, you chicky fuckers, you. Dan, I'm sorry we have ruined your YouTube channel.
Please don't unsubscribe.
Please unsubscribe. If 5 people unsubscribe tonight,
yes.
I'm sorry. If 5 people subscribe, hey, yeah, you know what? We need to ask people subscribe to the channel. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
we broke Brandi.
Please do that.
Broke Brandi.
I'm gonna need my inhaler after this. Anyway, darkcornerpodcast.com. And then there's another podcast that I just started right now. You can get the first episode in the Dark Corner podcast feed. That's called Headcanon, with me by myself talking about things, because I talk to myself quite a bit. So why not make everyone else listen to it? My feed is ready to go. So over the weekend, I am going to get that first episode also up on my own feed. I'll have my own website and everything, and you can find new episodes there. I'm going to do another one this weekend, because we're going to Mystery Science Theater live tomorrow night, and so I want to wait until after I've been to that.
That's cool.
Before I do another headcanon.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Then I can talk about that.
Yes, have fun with that.
Oh, it will be great. It's their final tour, so kind of have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you, Bruce? Besides,
well, you can find me on Twitter at Admiral_Rex, also known as Bruce Night Pooper Gibson. You can find me on Literary Treks with Dan, or at least I used to do it, unless he's kicked me off the show now. And I do the Live from the Edge with Brandi, unless she's kicked me off, or Chris Jones.
Never. If he kicks you off, I'm going with you. I'm not doing it without you.
And there's no way I'm doing Literary Treks alone. So.
Oh, look at this. Well, Brandi, you can go do Literary Treks with Dan, and that takes care of everything right there. And then I'm on so I'm not doing the Stars Report as much anymore, but I will be doing it the week of the 24th. And Brandon Shea Mutala from Trek FM, if you know him, he's going to join us, because he just watched the Clone Wars, the whole series, for the first time ever. And so we thought, well, let's see what he thinks of the new season and talk about his first watch of that. And anyway, it'll be his first time on the show. You guys have been on the show before, but he wanted to come on, and I was like, yeah, it might be interesting. So that's what's happening with that. My cord is wrapped around my arm. Okay. That's where you can find me. Oh, and I'm also always in the Babel conference. Trek FM has a Babel conference.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That thing that used to tear down posts and doesn't anymore. I say it like it is. I call it out, people. Why is it getting so quiet in here? So Amy, yes, Paul, I think we should have Amy back sometime. So she'll be back. Anything else we want to talk about? I mean, we're done. That's it.
We're done. Get out of here. Go.
I guess we'll be here next week, or some of us, I guess, right?
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All I can say is I'm available. So whatever.
Follow us on Twitter and check out the community tab here on my channel. We'll have an update as to when and what's going on. So yeah.
Okay. And what's your favorite color?
Purple.
I like
purple.
Klingon blood.
No, that's sort of Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, that's
color. It's more like a bubblegum pink almost.
That's
with
true.
A little purple tinge.
Bubblegum. Brandi, what's your favorite color?
I don't have one. I like so many colors that it's very difficult for me to pick one over the other. So that answer changes from day to day. Today, it's green. Tomorrow, it could be blue.
I had a feeling you were going to say green. I really did.
See, and I'll qualify mine, but that's why I had to think about it. Today, it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
Could be something else some other time. But yeah.
Wow.
Monday, it will be
purple
orange.
right now.
Yeah, I'm blue all the time.
Am I blue?
Am I blue? Okay. Oh, I'm the one who hits the end button.
You decide who lives or dies.
Oh.
All right. I'm going to hit bye.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night,
we'll see you
everyone.
next time if you feel like you want to be tortured once again. Bye.